So I'm always trying to improve how I do these videos when I talk about how to expand the things that happen on this particular channel, and since it's the main channel. So I had to let I came up with this idea to start doing album reviews because there's a ton of albums coming out right now. Because the next thing I'm gonna do after this is I'm gonna listen to the two new Nine Inch Nails albums. There's a ton of albums coming out. And one of the albums that's come out in the last couple of weeks is Fetch the Boltcutters by Fiona Apple. And I've read a lot of reviews while I was doing the research on this record. I sat down and listened to the record 4 or 5 times. And all the reviews are just kind of like shill media reviews. Like, hey, buy this record because, we have to convince you to like the artist and then buy the record. And I kept reading the reviews and listening to the record and reading the reviews and listening to the record. And I was like, if I already like this artist and I was already probably going to listen to this record, what would a fan say about this record? So I will say a couple things about this record. A, I liked it. First time I listened to it, I felt like I was missing something. Like I felt like I had missed part of the story behind this record. Sonically, lyric-wise, I feel like I missed the whole thing. Because the last album I'd really gotten into by Fiona Apple was Extraordinary Machine, which I think was '05, and Idler Wheel was 2012. There were some things that happened on Boltcutters that I had not heard before. I've heard home studio albums before by different artists, and you can tell that some people have like huge home studios, like not like Prince style huge home studios, not even like Dave Grohl style home studios, but just that you recorded this, and that was one of that you recorded this at your house. And that's one of the hallmarks that all the media reviews talked about. Oh, she did it at her house, and it's the record we need for our time because we're all in quarantine. And I'm like, that's cool and all, but that's not why this record's good. But I felt like I'd missed something, so I went back and listened to Idler Wheel, which, if you haven't heard Idler Wheel, which came out in 2012, it's an amazing album. I think there are 5 songs on that album that are probably the best songs Fiona Apple's ever done. And then there's 5 songs that she could have left off that album. I think she could have taken 5 songs off Boltcutters, put it together as a record, and it would have been a complete record that tells a story that kind of interconnects in a way that I'm not sure that anybody's, unless you listen to both albums back to back, you'll hear it. There's some things that she does sonically on Idler Wheel that show up in Boltcutters, because I think the same recording technique is used. It's not overproduced, which is great. I like the idea that when you listen to her earlier records, like When the Pawn or even Extraordinary Machine, there's a definite studio vibe, there's a definite cleanliness to the sound. In these most 2 recent records, there's a definite feel of let's see how it happens. Let's see where the songs go, and not to care about the ambient noise around. Which comes out in this record because her dogs are on the record. I think there's a cat on the record. There's a lot of background noise that shows up, which I think is really cool. Songs that are going to stick out on the record are because the media talks about For Her and all this kind of stuff, and it's not even the best songs on the record. Shamika, the chorus is going to stick with you. I Want to Make You Love Me is a great record. The title track, Fetch the Boltcutters, is a song that will sit in, that will kind of haunt you for a little bit. And that was the thing. I had to, it's what I've learned about from being fans of other artists, that you have to sit with a record and play it a few times to be like, okay, what do I like about it, what I don't. I can tell you things I don't like about the record, which are very few. If you haven't heard her recent stuff, like if you haven't listened to Idler Wheel, you will be lost. Because you will think there's something that's missing. That there's a story element to all the albums that she's done that you're like, did something happen? Because because it's recorded differently, but B, the songs don't listen as far as the lyrical content. They don't come off immediately as personal as stuff like Never Is a Promise or Every Single Night or Werewolf or Parting Gift. Songs that are on other albums that when you hear them you're like, oh, she's definitely talking about something she's been through. The interesting thing is, I think, and especially when you do some research and find out that, and I think this is true with most artists, who they're with and who they're dating kind of influences a lot of things going on. That's absolutely true with this record. I think what I've learned from, especially listening from Extraordinary Machine to Idler Wheel to Boltcutters, is that she like most people, she falls really hard, and the falls and then the breakups, like any good artist, kind of influence what happens and comes out in the music. But I also think she's grown from, the media likes to talk about how she was really petulant when she was a teenager, when she was like 19 when Tidal came out, and she's grown into this mature artist. And I'm like, she has, in a lot of ways. I think the other thing that's happened in the progression of her music is that it's not that she's grown up. I think she's just gotten more confident about what she wants to say. And in the case of some other things that's going on around the internet today, about what the boundary is for letting the public and letting fans in. That it doesn't have to be a 24-hour show. That I don't have to tell you who I'm writing about. But if you're following, if you're playing the home game, you might figure it out. So it's not, Boltcutters isn't the huge, deeply introspective record at first glance that you would expect it to be. But when you sit with it for a while, it is. It reminds me of an album that's having its 20th anniversary today. It reminds me in some ways of From the Choir Girl Hotel by Tori Amos. That it's personal, and it's dark, and it's about enormous things that have happened to her. But it's layered, and you have to sit with it to figure it out. Both records are kind of a turn for each artist. They're a departure from the studio types, the types of studio work they were doing before. And both of them, I think, are going to go down in their respective catalogs as some of the best work they've ever done. So that's it. That's my commentary, my chat that goes with the playlist in honor of Fetch the Boltcutters. Let me know if you want me to do any other album reviews or conversations about different artists. The next thing I'm about to do is listen to this double album, this 9 Inch Nails double album that's out. I've heard it's mostly instrumental, so I'm interested in seeing where that goes. I'm interested to see what Trent's doing today, given some of the success that he's had, and the way the music scene overall has changed, and where he thinks 9 Inch Nails is going forward. So, please like, share, subscribe this video, and I will catch you later.